Yo, this comment asked me to find mansion seeds, but I want to one-up it a bit by showing mansion village seeds. Go down to the comments right now and share what types of seeds you want me to find. As I said, today we are seeing 5 mansion village seeds for Minecraft 1.18, so obviously seeds with a village and mansion right at spawn. This is recorded in Java Edition. The terrain will be the same, but structures are different in Bedrock Edition. Alright, let's roll that intro. Let's get started with this seed that has an abandoned zombie village at spawn right next to a mansion. The village generates within a meadow biome that's near a birch forest, dark forest, grove, and forest. The zombie village actually generates so close to the mansion that it goes inside of the mansion. On the outside of the mansion, you can see many of the buildings along the side of it. You can also find full village buildings inside of the mansion and a farm too. When looking at the village, it looks like it's a big village, but as I go over here, you notice it's actually 2 separate villages. This part is just a normal plains type village. It's not a part of the zombie village. It's kind of cool how these 2 villages connect to form one huge village. On the bottom floor of the mansion, you can find parts of the village along the ceiling. On the middle floor, you can find those buildings that I showed earlier. And on the top floor, there are 5 rooms, which includes this arena room that has some loot on the overhead loft section. Right near the mansion, there is this lush cave opening. I think it's great having such an easy cave opening to access. You guys know how much I love lush caves too. Within the grove near spawn, there is this ruined portal. It's actually kind of hard to see because it's covered in snow. Of course, there is some loot inside of the chest for you to grab. And the final location in this seed I want to mention is this ravine underground, where you can find a mine shaft that connects to a skeleton spawner. So it's nice having a skeleton spawner close to spawn, but also creates a cool place to explore with the mine shaft. And you get that loot inside of the dungeon chest too. But yeah, this seed is absolutely awesome with that zombie village mansion right at spawn. Next up, we have a seed with a Taiga village inside of a mansion. I actually spawned into this world on top of the mansion. Along with the dark forest, there's some jagged peaks, taiga, birch forest, and ocean near spawn. I think this section of stony shores within the ocean looks kind of cool. You can see various sections of the village outside the mansion, like this building near the entrance, this section within the ocean, and this building cutting into the roof of the mansion. Inside of the mansion, you can find this building on the bottom floor, where a villager is trapped, along with this building roof in here. On the second floor, you can find this bit of the building that we saw outside earlier. On the top floor, there are 5 rooms, including this little hidden room. If I go into spectator mode, you can see a lot of sections of the village within the cobblestone foundation section of the mansion. Within the taiga near spawn, there is another village. It's just a fairly typical village, definitely a lot more normal than that first village. Underneath the mountains near spawn, you can find this massive lush cave. Do you want to build an underground base? Consider building it here. And finally, above ground within the mountains, there is this pillager outpost. I always think outposts generating within mountains look really awesome. Of course, the outpost generates with some loot at the top of it. So yeah, a pretty interesting seed here with that taiga village inside of a woodland mansion. In this seed, we spawn into the world within a meadow biome. You find a birch forest below along some water. And of course, you can find the dark forest with the mansion inside of it. This is one of those tall mansions with a big portion of cobblestone at the bottom of it. That's always cool to see. On the bottom floor of the mansion, I found multiple of these chest rooms which could be useful. On the middle floor, I found 3 of these cat rooms, and on the top floor, I found 9 rooms, including this hidden room, which has 2 chests at the top of it. But you may be wondering, where exactly is the village in this seed? Well, it's here. Yeah, this village generates within a cave or ravine, whatever you want to call it. It's really cool seeing parts of a lush cave and dripstone cave when looking at this fountain. And obviously, seeing buildings within the cave too. Within the ravine, you can find this little opening that leads to a spider spawner. So that makes this area even more awesome. Here's the loot I found within the chest. You can also find an opening to this section of cave here. It actually has a small section of dripstone cave near a bigger section of lush cave. Pretty cool, I think. You can find some cool cave openings in terrain along the meadow biome and river. That includes this cave here. It's a dripstone cave that I think looks really cool. I especially like this part here. And finally, there's this ruined portal here. It generates along that river and cave area. Of course, there's some loot here too. But yeah, this seed is absolutely awesome with that mansion at spawn along with that incredible cave village. Alright, this is a Taiga village mansion seed. Around spawn, you can find the Taiga dark forest and a birch forest. The terrain looks pretty cool too with this section of Taiga. The village in this seed is just massive. I mean, look how many buildings there are. That includes 2 blacksmith buildings, which has some loot inside of them. I like how some terrain stretches up the side of the mansion. On the bottom floor, there are 2 of these rooms which have a chest at the end of them. On the second floor, you can find some terrain around the ceiling, and there's an arena room which has some loot within it. And on the top floor, there is another arena room, among the 8 rooms total, which has some more loot for you. Directly under the mansion, you can find a big lush cave at deep slate level. It's such a wide open cave here. Looks pretty cool. There is also a shipwreck that you can find near spawn. It's partly buried in sand. You can dig around and find 2 chests with loot inside. And finally, the last place I want to mention is this massive cave. There's a small section of lush cave at the bottom. It's just a cool spot, I think. But yeah, this is a pretty cool seed here with such a massive village at spawn near the mansion. And to finish off this video, we spawn into a seed within a meadow biome. You can also find the dark forest and a jungle near spawn, including a section of bamboo jungle. The village is a fairly typical plains type village. It's got a few buildings and it stretches into the dark forest. The mansion is just southeast of the village, but it also generates with a jungle temple right at the entrance of it. Actually, the temple blocks the entrance of the mansion. Inside of the temple, you can break into this redstone area for some loot, and then there's another chest for some loot here too. On the bottom floor of the mansion, I found this maze room with some loot at the end of it. On the middle floor, you can get even more loot with an arena room. And on the top floor, you can get more loot within this secret hidden room where there are 2 chests in the ceiling. Near the mansion, there is this big cave opening that leads down to a lush cave. I just always like having easy access to lush caves. These biomes just look awesome. Within the lush cave, you can find this zombie spawner. Kind of cool seeing the spawner peeking out of the top of the cave. And here's the loot I found inside of the chest. And finally, I just want to mention that within the jungle, you can find another temple. This is a much more standard place for the temple to generate. And of course, within the temple, you get 1 chest and then another chest too. But yeah, this seed is absolutely awesome with not only just a village, but a jungle temple near a mansion too. So that does it for this one. Definitely check out my blog for all the coordinates to locations shown in this video. To see more Minecraft 1.18 seeds, click the video that is on screen. If you would like to help me out, feel free to leave a like on this video. For more Minecraft videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for all of my future videos. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out of here. See ya.